All right, so let's take a look at the esports assignment in our Python class that comes from Codecombat. So first of all, after completion of the 18 levels of the adventure game, now we're looking at some competitive programming in this esports system. So we are correctly joined into a team, and then we can try things out at 3 different levels: warm-up, easy, or hard. A warm-up is going to be competition with a non-player character, an NPC, and then we will have an easy go. So let's go ahead and start there. Now, as you prepare your code, you can see what others are doing in the video screen, and then you can adjust your code to that, right? So you can change things as you go. So first of all, we have different methods that we can use. We also have some hints to go through. But the basic idea is that your opponent is going to be at the top, you are at the bottom, and you have to create protections, and then as the crowds move through, you're going to try to eliminate them. And that's the basic idea of tower defense style game. What is interesting here is that, first of all, you get to use code to create these elements, and then you can control other things, such as what are the crowds that are coming in. 50% of the crowds you can control so as to skew the game towards your result. You can also create loops, so that way you don't have to continually repeat the code. So let's start with some fundamental easy code here, and I'm going to use my copy and paste ability. So we have the hero.build tower method, which means that for every element here, we're going to create something. These elements start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the stations here at the second parameter. So for example, this line means that we're using the hero object, build tower method, and we're specifying a guard is going to be built in this area, and the area index is 2. So it's going to be 0, 1, 2. It's going to be done here. Let's go ahead and run our code. And so now notice that we're building guards at position 0, and then at 1 we have a catapult, and then we're going to have another guard here. And so you can see how this happened here. Guard was built at 0. Now I actually mixed it up so that not only do I start building at the bottom here, but I can start building at the end. Why? Because now I'm providing index of 9 to put my protections, or at least slow down the crowds at the very end before anything else is built. And so as we watch what happens here, and it looks like on this level I'm actually losing this game so far. It says incomplete goals, which means that we are second in this race, and when there's only 2 racing, second is not the best position. But that means we have to improve on our code. And what you might find soon, and you can rerun the code as many times as you want to against a particular opponent, what you will find is that not only do you get to build these towers the first time, but you can then repeat the code and then strengthen a specific build to level 1, 2, 3, and forward. So notice that I can start by building 1 tower, and this is going to be a guard at the very end here, so at the very right by my hero. I call it the end because the crowds are moving from right to left, therefore this is sort of the goalie area of the game. And so I have built up this defense by strengthening my guard to level 3. So that is basically the principle of this first trick. So if you remember from the textbook, there's a way not to have to retype the same code over and over again, and that trick is called loops. So you see, we can create loops inside of Python. So let's see what that would look like. Now this particular loop will be a while loop, and we specify true as the condition, meaning keep doing that as long as the true is true, which is always. So this is going to basically repeat this code over and over again. Now, we're starting with a couple of firewalls and then guards, but as I run this code, notice that what we're doing is we're continually improving our defenses as the crowds are moving in. And notice that our goals have changed to success now. So just that improvement in code means that against this particular opponent, we're going to win. But you can do even more tricks. So for example, you can include a loop for certain parts of your defenses, but you can put code ahead of time so that certain towers are built first and then you continue with loops. And that's useful because maybe you want to enforce specific area of your defenses. All right, once you have that, there are even more interesting things that you can do. So I'm going to share this code with you. You can then start on a couple of towers. Now these towers are in position 4 and 5, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right in the middle. So we're going to start our guards in the middle, so that way we can slow down crowds. And then notice this method. All right, and all the available methods are here in the middle, and then the hints button is going to, hints button is hiding right here. The hints button will allow you to learn what they do. So notice what we can do. With every loop that it goes through, we can request, and the documentation there says that each opponent can request 50% of crowds. Okay, so for our 50% of crowds, we can request the ice elemental, or that's the white furry guy right there. So when I run my code, what you will notice is that there are more of the furry white guys that are passing through to be first burned and then eaten by the goat, and then finally shot by a firewall or with a force ball. There we go. Force ball and fireball. There we go. So that gives you an advantage in the game if you can specify which crowds are going to come in, because each crowd can be defined by its ability to how fast it goes and which weapons are more effective against it. So you can try something out, and then you see which crowds are most susceptible to your defenses. So that's quite useful. And then we continue with rotating, and in this instance my strategy was to build towers at position 5 and 4, so right here in the middle. So most of the crowds are passing through the fire, which means that they are losing health, and then we hold them back in that fire, and then we have some towers that have the range of inflicting more damage to either the crowds that are burned or the ones that are approaching. So that is part of the fun. The rest of the fun is in the fact that there are additional methods, such as find the next enemy, and you can actually detect what enemy is coming up, and then you can strengthen specific towers based on that. So really a very simple game, but you can get really advanced and have lots of fun with it. Well, thank you very much, and I encourage you to take a closer look at it.